Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to a book haul. Again, yes, 3 things happened last week. It was my birthday, I got books, and we started to have the first or the second heat wave of the summer, hence the not really appropriate dress, but it's so warm. And as you know, in Europe, in Germany, we don't have air conditioning. So if we have 35 degrees, which is, I don't know, about 100 or 97 or something, we suffer and we are not used to it. We don't live in Arizona, Terry, we don't. So, but anyway, enough of the heat. But I want to show you some books. It's not the complete book haul yet because I ordered some books. I got gift cards for my birthday and people send me books. So they are partly the gift card books, but I'm still waiting on some. So there might be a second part of this. But anyway, I don't know in which order I want to talk to. I just picked the first one. So this is Joy Saumon, Tenderloin, translated from the French by Lara Vergniaud. The French came out a couple of years ago, but this is this year's English translation. And I was alerted to this book by Jo Smith, because we read another book by Joy Saumon, Life Sciences, last year, I think, about a young girl or a family, women, generational suffering from ailments or illnesses. Or this also touches on a similar topic, but it's about a young man, Pim, who becomes an apprentice butcher, and then stuff gets weird, I would say. It's a thin book, and I will buddy read this with Joe. So this was one of the books I bought for the gift cards I got from my birthday. The next one is a book that I've meant to buy for a long time. It was published in 1906. And I will have to look for the translator. Yes, so this is an Italian book, Sibilia Aleramo, A Woman. Like I said, first published in 1906 and translated from the Italian by Erika Segre and Simon Carnell. This is considered the first feminist novel in Italy, and it's about a coming of age of a young woman, modeled after Sibilia Alaramo's own life. But I was especially interested of the aspect of being the first kind of feminist book, as it is announced. So I bought this one. Then, I told you a little bit already about this project about of unhinged, reading unhinged women, women doing stuff that is not supposed to, or it's a broad subject. I will talk about it at some point. But I saw this book. Having to look for the translator as usual. Yeah. So this is a Japanese novel, Natsuko Imamura, the woman in the purple skirt, translated from the Japanese by Lucy North. And this came out, I think last year or the year before last. Yeah. So just a couple of years old, and it is about women in the workplace and how rivalry or mobbing occurs. I don't think mobbing is an English word. We call it mobbing in German. But anyway, so this is, I'm not sure whether it actually qualifies for the Unhinged Women Project, but I want to read translated fiction anyway. So I bought this one. The next book I have already read. I'm going to reread it, but I bought it for my birthday from a gift certificate because I wanted to have this particular edition. So Joan Didion, Played as It Lays, 1970, and I wanted this picture, the edition with this cover picture with Yves Babbitt and Marcel Duchamp, photographed in 1963 by Julian Wasser. And this is just I'm a fan of Eve Babbitt's, as you probably know, because I've talked about her books in previous videos. And this is such an iconic picture, and it says so much about art and women in art. And anyway, and the book also is about a woman, Maria, who, was an artist, and now is aimlessly trying to make sense of her life. It's quite a depressing book, set in the 1960s, by the way, also, hence the picture. But I really, really loved it, and I certainly gonna reread it. The blurb says, somewhere out beyond Hollywood, hollowed out actress Maria's life plays out in a numbing routine of perpetual freeway driving. I mean, that says enough, I think, of depressing. But yes, I'm really looking forward to rereading this. Then I also bought some nonfiction. Oops. First one is this, Art Monsters by, Lauren Elkin. Yes. One of the other things I'm interested in at the moment to read more about is women in art. So we're not going to call it female art. We're going to call it, and also not women artists, but women in art. So how women as artists, how they fare and what the issues are. And Lauren Elkin's book, I'm already almost halfway through, explores when was it published? I think 2019. No, that's not true. 2023. So it's fairly recent. And she explores the art monster. What does it mean, or how can a woman become an artist despite the constraints of society? So she talks about contemporary times with a little going backward and into time. And the title is taken from the novel by Jenny Offill, Department of Speculation, because she says in the beginning of the book, or the protagonist says in the beginning of a book, it's about a woman who wanted to become an artist, but a writer, but didn't quite work out the way she thought. And in the beginning, the protagonist thinks back on her life, and that when she was young, she never wanted to marry or have children. She wanted to become an art monster instead. She never really explains what she means by that, but Elkin examines how the constraints that women have in order to or when they want to become an artist, and the bodies of women in art. So it's fascinating. So far, it's really fascinating. Staying with the artist, let's put them over there. The heaviest book is a book that I'm bought because I wanted to have the new edition, and that is this one by Whitney Chadwick, Women, Art and Society. So women in the world of art. And this is really a historical overview from the Renaissance. I think it starts, or Middle Ages until modern times. It's really beautifully illustrated with artworks by women. And this is the revised edition that came out 2 or 3 years ago, I think 2020. And I already had the book, but this is the 1990 edition. It's also, you can see, there is some stuff added, and it's just not up to date anymore. So I wanted to have the new one. And as it is rather expensive, this is typically something I would buy from birthday gift vouchers. And then I also bought a nonfiction book that I have already read, but I read it on script, and I wanted to have it in a physical copy, and that is Kat Bohannon's book Eve: How the Female Body Drove 200 Million Years of Human Evolution. Kat Bohannon is a science writer, science journalist, and this is just what it says on the cover. She explores the way the female body evolved, not only in terms of, from ape to man, or woman rather, but all kinds of different aspects of the female body, female evolution, that has been overlooked. So it's about the legs and the brain and the voice, and it's absolutely fascinating book. It is quite big, even though if you are intimidated by that, the last part, so this part is notes. So, but it is 430 pages of text, and dense. But she is so funny. She is humorous and informative. And if you are at all interested in human evolution, and maybe also, from a feminist perspective, yeah, perfect book. And then I got a couple of books sent to me by friends. First, Adam from Memento Mori. He sent me 3 books, an Ursula Le Guin in this tiny little, there are 3 short stories written between 1982 and 1987. But this is winter text. This is a Pacific Northwest publisher. Adam told me. So yeah, really beautiful little book. And as you know, Adam and I are making our way through Ursula Le Guin's work, so I'm sure we will buddy read this together. And then I normally don't often feature male authors on this channel, but with presence, So he gifted me this book by Dan Sinekin, Big Fiction, about the changes in publishing. And he told me about this book when he read it beginning of the year, and I was really interested, but I had difficulty getting it here in Germany. So fantastic. As a writer, of course, I'm interested. And then he gifted me a book from New Directions. New Directions is one of the independent publishers that I'm trying to explore. And he had a second copy of this book, Jose Donoso, The Obscene Bird of Night. And this book is translated from the Spanish. He's a Chilean author by Leonard Mades and Megan McDowell. It was first published in 1970, and this edition, obviously, with the new translation in 2024. And it is one of the most well-known Chilean authors. He died 10 years ago or something, and it is an experimental book. So Adam and I will read this together, and I'll see how I get along with this one. And then I also got a gift from Heidi from My Reading Life, and she gifted me a historical fiction novel, Ariel Lawhon, The Frozen River, published, I think, fairly recently. Last year, 2023. And this, as I said, is historical fiction set in Maine, and Heidi lives in Maine, so that's already reason enough for me to read this. But it's also about Mary Ballard, I think her last name is, who was a midwife, and she kept a diary after, I think, when she started when she was 50. So this book is based on the character of Mary Ballard, who was a midwife and a healer. And I forgot when the book is set, 1789, so in the late 18th century. So thank you very much, Heidi and Adam. So these are the books for now that I got for my birthday. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'll speak to you all soon in the next one, next Sunday.